Hi guys, welcome to this special live stream event courtesy of Inchcape Kenya Limited. Today, in this evening, we are at the heart of BMW, and with me is a gentleman who's going to give us much more details as to why we are here. But for those who are watching wherever you are, in the office, in the car, please make sure you follow us on all our social media handles. It is Inchcape Kenya Limited and at BMW Kenya. If you have any questions in regards to BMW, please make sure you drop a comment or a like, and we'll be able to read the feedback as we continue. But today is such a beautiful day because we're getting into the end of the month and everybody's looking towards the holiday. So this weekend, the reason why we're here is to talk about the special service, express service courtesy of Inchcape Kenya Limited in partnership with Shell. And we have an amazing offer that is running all the way from the 2nd to 3rd of June, and we're going to give you much more details as to why you should be able to come here. So if you're a BMW owner, it doesn't matter if it is a grey import or a new car, please secure that date. Make sure you come here and you'll be able to be attended to. And this is the reason why BMW is the car to reckon. So Inchcape Kenya Motors, for those who do not know, is the official authorized dealer of BMW in Kenya. They have the best parts, service and technicians to ensure that you're able to maintain your BMW, be it an E30 box to an E60 to all the X5s, X7s, anything that you so desire can be well maintained right here at Inchcape Motors Kenya Limited. But before I go any further, I'd like to introduce to you the person who's seated right next to me and is going to give us some brief description as to why we are here. Karibu sana, Mr. Bernard.
Thank you.
Yes, we're here today on this evening, and I can see there's plenty of BMWs here. Right behind me is this X7, which is like the biggest BMW you can ever get. But tell us about the event or the weekend that's coming on this BMW Express service.
Okay, we have the service which will start from 2nd on
Yes.
that of this month.
Yes.
So we are looking forward to do services for BMW,
Yeah.
which might include 50 points check.
Yeah.
We have engine oil change, we have oil filter change, we have mechanical check, which might involve suspension, tires, engine, name them, all of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, you've heard it. He's just said that this weekend, if you come here, there's an express service clinic that you'll be able to get actually a 50-point check. That is both diagnostic and mechanical, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be able to actually do a service package that's about 14,000 bob, and you'll be able to change your oil and filters. Now, tell us about BMW service. Do you have your traditional minor service and major, or it's a different type of service?
For BMW,
Yes.
we don't have major or minor services. We have service, condition-based service. With the BMW, what's there, it shows you when the oil service is due,
Yes.
when the brake pads are due, when you require mechanical check is due, it will show you.
Wow, so it's very digital. So basically, it has a couple of sensors within the vehicle that measures the quality of oil, whether the pollen filter is,
The brake
clogged up.
pads, the pollen filter is incorporated in the oil service. Yeah, pollen filter, air filter, engine oil, that's one's oil service.
So anybody who's watching here,
Yeah,
so it means any BMW you can come.
Can come.
E30
after Kitambo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have all the parts.
We have all the parts.
Now, of course, guys, you do know that BMW is actually under Inchcape Kenya Motors, and of course, these guys have plenty of technology. The one thing that I do like about Inchcape is the fact that most and all their technicians are highly trained and qualified to ensure that they can be able to diagnose, maintain, and take care of your BMW without stress. There's no trial and error because these cars are extremely sensitive. But in terms of bodywork, do you have the quality and the capability to do accident
Yeah, we
vehicles?
do have. We have specialized technicians who can handle aluminum materials, carbon fiber materials, all of them.
Wow.
We have.
So if I have like a proper M5 competition, which we all love, I can be able to come here and have it maintained.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. And I know for many people who are really looking for a specialized garage, if you own a BMW and you want to have the exact parts, like it's not second guessing, then this is the place to be. So make sure you just come through, come on Friday or Saturday, come in, book in your car, and then you receive basically everything that you need to do in as far as building a proper BMW, servicing your vehicle to that tip-top condition that the Germans ensure that you get ultimate driving pleasure. Now there's one thing that I've actually tried to understand.
Okay.
The engine oil that we are using right now, we have a partnership with Shell that's happening currently.
Yeah.
Why do you use this Shell Helix Ultra that is fully synthetic oil on BMW engines?
It's globally recommended for BMW.
Yes.
For one, it has the right viscosity to penetrate to the engine parts.
Yes.
With that, it extends life of the engine.
Yeah.
It also reduces maintenance for the engine.
Yes.
And it also reduces, it has fuel economy maintenance. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the type of engine oil that we used during this campaign period is the Shell Helix Ultra that is actually made with pure plus technology. For those who do not know, pure plus technology is they use gas to oil technology to create a base for this synthetic oil. And the reason why they use that is because if you use your traditional oil-based or mineral-based oil, when it comes to high temperatures, because these beamers rev all the way to 6,500 RPM and they need a lot of lubrication within, a standard mineral oil would denature, basically to start forming deposits in those channels within the vehicle, and of course now it will affect how the vehicle performs and efficiency will reduce. So it's very important for you to have this particular oil. So make sure if you want to use this Shell Helix Ultra with pure plus technology to come, please Saturday come through and have a session with these guys. They'll book your car, they'll check it, and they'll give you a 50-point inspection report, both mechanical and diagnostic, to ensure that your car is in tip-top condition. Now, speaking about diagnostics, what do you check when you plug in the machine into the car? What do you check with the 50-point inspection?
BMW has a lot of electronics.
Yes.
We have the computer, the DME, it's the main computer for the car.
Yes.
We have the junction box electronics.
Yes.
We have the DSC. All of them will be captured in the diagnosis. Yeah.
So will you get a printout once to tell you what's happening in the car?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody who has a grey import, so a Japanese vehicle, it's BMW, right?
We don't discriminate.
We don't discriminate.
Yeah.
So they come, you'll
come.
plug it in, you'll give them a report, because all BMWs share the same architecture, right?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for those who are bringing in cars from Japan, what would you advise them to do? Let's say you've just imported a car from Japan. Would you advise them to come here, and then what would you do to these cars so that you give them a good inspection report and a way to maintain them?
it's advised because in Japan it's a different market, Kenya is a different market.
Yes.
So when you bring a grey import, it's good to bring it to the dealership.
Yes.
So that we can inspect it. Then from there we can advise you the way forward. Yeah.
Okay, so you've learned.
Yeah.
They do not discriminate. If you have any car from either the UK, Singapore, Japan, South Africa, it is welcome here. This is the home of BMW. They'll be able to maintain your car. And speaking of spare parts, we have a very big issue of fake spare parts that are running across this town.
Yeah.
Why is it important to come here and use genuine BMW parts?
We have the original parts from the manufacturer.
Yes.
They are very affordable. Then we have warrant on parts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can
I
be rest
encourage
assured.
clients to come to buy parts from here because we extend warrant for the parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been told that you're able to come here and actually purchase parts for your BMW. So they do have a system where you log in your chassis number, then be specific to your particular vehicle and import them. And then there is warranty on the part and also the labor, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
How they fix it.
Yeah.
So you have peace of mind. You don't go to a garage and then they tell you other stories. You know, if the car is brought to Inchcape Kenya Limited, they'll fix it as per the manufacturer's specification, and you go home knowing that this part works extremely well. Now, in terms of safety, if you buy a fake part or non-genuine part, what risks do you have, say, if you buy fake brake pads for your BMW?
It has a lot of risk involved, like breakdown.
Yes.
Yeah, you are not sure of you reach your destination because the part is not guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is risky. It is risky
It's
for
risky.
you to...
Even it will increase also cost of maintenance because you might end up going the part double. Yeah.
Right. As we continue this, if you're watching it from home or in traffic, please make sure to follow us on our social media channels, which is basically Inchcape Kenya Limited and at BMW Kenya. Hashtag is the special event on Saturday. If you have any questions, please, my team will get back to us and we'll also talk about whatever question you have. So please kindly post them as we continue to talk. And to one also very major important thing. So if I have a BMW in Kisumu or Mombasa, what is the network of Inchcape around the country and how can I service these cars very easily?
For now we have two branches in Nairobi and one in Mombasa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So what it does, client can organize the way we can get the car, then we can service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So rest assured that doesn't matter where you are, the car will get proper attention.
Proper attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I know many people who are actually in the coastal region and they want to maintain their very expensive BMWs. They do have also a location. You can see on the description the location as to where the Inchcape Kenya Limited Service Center is, and you'll be able to maintain your BMW quite easily. Now let's speak about our fuel quality in Kenya. And it's a big issue, especially for the cars that are coming in from Japan, because they're not expected to have that kind of fuel.
Yeah.
So what do you do when the car comes to Inchcape just to ensure that it is able to adapt easily to the fuel quality?
Yeah. What we normally do, especially the engine, the transmission system, we normally do a fresh service.
Okay.
We change oil filter, air filters, and then the plugs, if it's a petrol engine. Okay. Yeah.
If it's diesel, you do the glow plugs?
We normally change the oil filter. Okay. The fuel filter, not the fuel filter for the diesel engines. Okay. Yeah. And then we do the a complete oil change. Okay. Yeah.
Are you able to map the vehicle's computer or to program the computer to accept or kind of...
No, it's not authorized.
Not authorized?
Not authorized.
But at least you're able to maintain the car regardless?
Yeah.
So that if you have any issues with your DPF or anything, you're able to handle it quite easily?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, that has been a brief talk with the service manager right here at Inchcape Kenya Limited, and he's going to give us much more details later as to why you should bring your car on Saturday. So just a recap of what we need to do is basically book a date, either Friday or Saturday, 2nd or 3rd. Come through, book in your BMW. Could be any, it doesn't necessarily have to be bought here at Inchcape Kenya Limited. It could be an old classic to the most modern one, which is the X7 here. Please book in. Their number is on the description. Please make sure you just give them a call and they'll book you in, and then you can be able to ensure that your BMW is maintained in tip-top condition, because it is the ultimate driving pleasure. That is a vehicle that you need every day. It's a vehicle that gives you satisfaction if it is maintained properly. Now, on to the last bit, which is basically about Inchcape Kenya Limited, and I wanted to just do a recap as to why we are doing this. Inchcape Kenya Limited, again, is the official BMW dealer right here in Kenya. They stock the latest parts and service for every BMW available in this market. Number 3, they do offer a comprehensive bodywork section where they're able to, repaint and rebuild your hit BMW or a BMW that's had an accident into the conditions that the manufacturer have set. And they also have aluminium jigs that are able to literally straighten the chassis quite easily without damaging anything, to the right specification. And also they do stock plenty of parts, genuine parts that ensure that you and your BMW are in tip-top condition wherever you are. So guys, we're going to have a short break and we'll be right back after this. And welcome back to our live stream session courtesy of Inchcape Kenya Limited. We are at the BMW Service Center, the home and the heart of BMW maintenance. And today we are talking about all matters BMW. Why are we here? As a recap, this weekend, make sure you block out 2nd and 3rd of June because there is a special express service week. It's actually an offer. And BMW inviting you, anybody who has a BMW, be it old or new, to come through and have your BMW checked. And of course, you do have a 50-point check, including both mechanical and package, starting from 14,000 Kenya shillings, which is quite affordable considering that BMWs are vehicles that require a lot of care and attention. Now, two things. If you're in Mombasa, they also have a special offer. I've been reminded that if you're importing a car from Japan or Singapore or even South Africa and it lands in Mombasa, there is a service special package that costs 8,000 shillings at the Inchcape Service Center in Mombasa, and they'll be able to give you your car a good attention. They'll check if the car requires anything. They'll give you a diagnostic report. And for only 8,000 bob, I can tell you, it's a bargain of a century. You're not taking it to a quack. You're taking it to a professional who understands the BMW vehicles, be it old or new. So hear me out. Make sure you visit these guys. Now, I'm going to talk about why we are using this different type of engine oil that is being used in this campaign. Now, the Shell Helix Ultra with Pure Plus technology is an engine oil that has been designed for high-performance vehicles like BMWs, as you can see, and there's a reason why they decided to build this particular type of oil. And the reason is this. Over the last couple of years, or 2 decades, the need to have smaller and powerful engines has actually made manufacturers to build these small but very potent engines. So back in the day, you used to have vehicles that had 8 cylinders, 6 cylinders. But now you can have a vehicle with a 4-cylinder engine that is turbocharged and still produce the power of a V8 or a V6. Now that has led into changing of the oils. The oils had to adapt to these new technologies to ensure that it doesn't degrade and still maintains and gives your engine maximum life. Now, 2 things. One, sorry guys, I'm being distracted at the back. As we continue, as we carry on. So yes, we're talking about Shell Pure Plus technology. Now, why did Shell decide to build this Pure Plus technology? Simply because they had to meet the demands of the current engine manufacturers. Like I mentioned earlier, most engines were becoming smaller with high output, meaning that they had different set of properties. So your traditional V8 would only rev to maybe 6,000 or 5,000 RPM, but your turbocharged 4-cylinder will probably do 7,500. 8,000 RPM, and that requires oil that is able to move along the galleries at very high temperature and of course still retain the viscosity. Now, turbocharging being one of them. Number 2, variable valve timing also led to that increase in performance of these particular engine oils, and also the ability for the vehicle to still maintain its viscosity index and of course to prevent temperature deposit. Now, the previous generation of oils, because oil is actually measured by a group of people called API. Now, the previous generation of oils were actually based on fossil fuel. So the base that they used to make the oil, be it mineral oil, could only reach to a certain temperature of about 350 degrees. But because of these new technologies, engines are now reaching temperatures of up to 500 degrees. So you need an oil that actually is able to still retain its viscosity and of course still be able to retain its protection, because oil also serves as lubrication and cooling for the engine. That's why Shell developed the Pure Plus technology, which actually allows this particular oil to work efficiently in very high performance engines like the one BMW behind me on the X7, and it's made out of gas, yes, I'm saying gas. So the technology is called gas to oil, where if you remember your chemistry, when you condense gas, it becomes liquid. So you're able to use a pure form of gas into a base that is able to build a fully synthetic oil that does not denature, does not degrade, and still gives you maximum protection. So that's why it's important for you to come this weekend and have your car serviced to this particular Shell in your BMW. Anyway, enough of that. Now, you've just mentioned that in Mombasa there's something that's happening. Please tell us about this service that is targeting people who are importing cars into Kenya.
We have this service coming from second and third. Whoever is in Mombasa importing a grain port, or you have a local BMW local one.
Yes.
It's important to visit Mombasa branch. You have your car service there. Then you'll be in good position.
Yes, I've had some crazy stories where people actually import these cars from wherever, and they don't reach Nairobi simply because somebody put a wrong type of oil in the engine, and you're able to do, actually make pass by at the Inchcape Service Center in Mombasa. Have it checked. They give you a full diagnostic report of what your car is about, and you're able to tell and maintain your car quite easily, because from there on, the vehicle is in the hands of the doctor, the BMW doctor. Zimbabweans are highly trained. They're taking it to South Africa, to Munich, to Dubai. They learn the trade. They learn the new skill sets of how to maintain these very, very sensitive vehicles. And that knowledge is not impacted in you. They actually service your vehicle and make sure that you and your vehicle remain in tip-top condition. Another thing that I'd like us to discuss as well on Saturday, I had a question that somebody actually asked me the other day. What happens to when your timing belt or timing chain is worn? I don't know if BMW still does that. Is there a service interval where you normally check the timing chains?
You normally check. BMW doesn't have a timing belt, it's a timing chain.
Yes.
Whenever the timing chain is loose,
yeah.
The timing can go off.
Yes.
Causing more damages.
Yeah.
And also might bring hard start. The engine might start to misbehave.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's good to have a timing chain.
Okay.
Check, especially vehicles from 100,000 kilometers and above.
Okay.
Yeah.
And typically that would be your import, because normally they exceed over 100,000 before they come to Kenya. Also, BMW is also the ones that come from abroad.
Yeah.
Because of their severity level, their suspension is softer and the vehicle is lower. What would you advise somebody who wants to sort of raise their BMW, either a 3 Series or a 5 Series that's extremely low? What would you advise them to do?
What happens, because they bring it from a different market to our market, and the roads are a bit different. Huh?
Yes.
You just buy the suspension parts for this market.
Okay.
Then fit it to your car.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will it raise the vehicle to at least a good height?
It will.
Without affecting the look and stability?
It will not affect the look, it will not affect the stability. You will be safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
The suspension, let's talk about the shocks. How long does it last? If you use it typically in Nairobi, typically, like you're just a typical driver living within the confines of Nairobi, how long would a shock last? A typical 3 Series shock?
As long as you are within Nairobi,
yes.
You're not doing rough roads.
Yeah.
I think it will last for the longest period.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right. But this is if you buy the shock from Inchcape here, the genuine parts.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had. So please don't go rush to Kirinyaga Road and buy reconditioned shock absorbers because they'll fail. They'll fail. And this car is quite heavy and it needs a suspension setup that is good, so that you're able to experience the ultimate as you carry on driving your BMW. Another thing that we want to discuss also is the fact that during service, how does the service interval go? So do you bring in your car, do you do man hours, or depending on the work, how do you schedule service for clients?
For local market, for our market,
yes,
they normally go between 8,000 to 12,000 kilometers. That's for oil service.
Okay.
Then for grain imports, depending on the market they are coming from, some go to 24.
Okay.
Others 34,000, but that's not recommended for our market.
Okay.
Our market is 12,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody imports the car, they should have in mind that at least after every 12,000, we should do the service.
To change the service window to our market.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes it much easier for you to maintain the vehicle. Okay, so guys, you've had, so whenever you have an issue or you're brought in your BMW, maybe it's been a place where you can able to tell the vehicle that it is maintained properly and make sure you updates every time they do the inspection, either be plugging it into the machine or the mechanical, you're able to know what needs to be replaced at what time and even give you advanced warning, so that you're able to plan yourself quite easily. Now, what's the turnaround time, say if you had a minor accident and you wanted to fix your BMW, just say maybe a small frontal impact, how long will it take? Does it take a week, 2 weeks, or depending on the availability of the parts?
If the parts are there, it will take a maximum of 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least guaranteed you'll have the car, the same color, because you normally see people with different hues. If it is white, you see it's off-white.
Same color.
Same color. Because you normally use the chassis to get the color code of the car. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty important, because at the end of the day, I think you want also a car that is well done, because cheap is expensive. If you take your car to the roadside mechanic and they do panel beating where there's so much dust, the result also you expect that it won't be as spick and span. See, as you can see in a workshop where it is literally very clean, it's like also hermetically sealed to prevent dust. And even at the spray booth as well, they take extra precautions to ensure that the paint that they use is of high quality and it's of the original standard, and also they also be able to panel beat and actually fit each part according to manufacturer specification, which is extremely important, because sometimes you see a car that has had an accident, it looks like it's it's seen better days. So I'm quite happy that you're able to answer that. Well, thank you very much for the kind support, and we are happy that you're able to actually follow us on this live stream. Also, we can see somebody else here. There's a guy called Ogada Reviews. Ogada Reviews says, thanks Big Boy Trev for such an amazing work that you're doing. Thank you, Ogada Reviews. I'm actually seeing somebody also on the live chat here, and actually saying that Kiki Mboya, it says, the Japan BMW imports, how does Inchcape deal with softwares which have been doctored? That's the question. Let me just repeat again. This is from Kiki Mboya, and he says, the Japan BMW imports, how does Inchcape deal with softwares which have been doctored?
What happened?
Yes.
If you bring a BMW which has software which is being doctored,
yes.
When you connect it to our machines, automatically the control unit will fail.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to replace the control unit which has been doctored.
Yes.
Then from there we update it to with our software now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who don't understand what doctored is, what do you mean by doctored or tampered with?
Yeah, this software which has been, for instance, I give an example. You have a BMW.
Yes.
Now you wanted to change the performance. It's a normal one. You
yes.
want it to give like a sport one.
Okay.
So you're going to do mappings.
Okay.
When you try to upgrade the software, what happens? The control unit will crash.
Okay.
Yeah, it will crash. So you have to replace the control unit.
Wow. So anybody who's trying to do mapping, it's dangerous to the control unit. It might crash.
Yeah, it might crash.
Okay, and we know that these kind of people who like increasing the performance, we can't avoid them. Yeah. And they normally use either piggyback ECUs that rides on top of the main control unit. Yeah. What are the risks if you go that direction, if you're trying to increase performance without...
Also risk the life of you shorten the life of the engine first.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not advisable.
Okay.
To do those mappings to the car. Just keep the car as original as it is. Okay. Yeah.
If I want a more powerful one, I go for M5.
Yeah.
M5 might be a far away reach from everybody's pocket, but I do get what you're saying. So vis-a-vis risk of you, intentionally killing the ECU and costing you a lot of money. It's rather that you try and keep it as possible so that you're able to enjoy that BMW quite well. Now let's speak about classics, because Kenya, BMW has been known for many years. We've seen the boxes, the E30, we've seen the E39, we've seen even the E46s, and there are plenty, and Kenyans love their BMWs. For those who have classic BMWs, do you still have those parts, the carburetor parts for the E30? I mean, how do you deal with this kind of customers?
We still have those parts. Whenever you bring your car, if the part is not in stock right now, we can order for you.
Okay.
The parts.
And since the older cars were less problematic, I won't say problematic, but less digital, is it easier to maintain a classic?
Less problems compared to the new ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so far, I know you are a professional in this field. How many E30s have you touched so far? Or even the old 7 Series and the 5 Series? The old ones?
I think for the last 2 years, I've dealt with at least 4.
4 of them?
4 of them.
Okay, I got
There are some of the clients who normally bring their classic cars to dealership.
Okay. To get that expertise in maintaining them. I had a question I just read a few minutes ago. What is the big issue with the N46 engine that is disturbing a lot of Kenyans who are in the 3 Series?
N46, the biggest problem is the normal consumer a lot of oil.
Okay.
What happens, the valves says normal dry, then they start passing oil to the combustion chamber.
Okay, then begin to smoke.
Yeah, they begin to smoke.
Okay, what's the remedy? Do you just replacing the gasket, or what is it?
Yeah, we normally replace the gaskets.
Okay.
Then it'll be fine.
So was it like an engineering fault that they maybe had thinner size of seals?
It's an engineering fault.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen with less mileage vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a wear and tear issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any issues with the turbo?
N46 doesn't.
No, is it the N54? The ones that have a 2-liter turbo, 1.8 turbo.
The turbo.
Okay.
For those N54,
Yeah.
5 engines, it's okay.
They're still okay.
Yeah.
So don't you worry if you think your car is smoking and it's an N46 equipped BMW, those 320s on the E1992, please come Saturday. They'll be able to give you, and they're not expensive, the gaskets and the overall kits.
They're not expensive. What we do, we just give you a quote for Sunday overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
And how long does it take in case somebody books it in?
In case someone books it, we have all the parts, it takes a week.
A week.
Yeah.
So you can sacrifice a week for your car to be maintained in tip-top condition. And remember, I actually had a friend of mine who took his BMW. That's the reason why I asked. His BMW had the same issue, but they didn't fit genuine the gasket and overall kits. So after that whole job and costing so much money, you start the car is still smoking. Wow. That's and it felt like we've worked for like 5 days and the guy is busy, but I guess cheap is expensive, and that's why he's at that position where he's now regretting. So if you're watching and you have that same issue, either 1 Series or 3 Series, even 5, I think, please come. Any issues with the 6-cylinder, the M54s, the old 6-cylinder engines, M52, M54?
Mostly we normally found the engines like an M52.
Yeah.
Is equipped with electric water pump.
Okay.
Mostly fails.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful.
The engine itself
It's solid.
solid.
Okay, and replacing that also is not a big issue here.
Not a big issue.
Okay. So at least you know the different problems. I like it when the doctor knows, like, ukiumwa na tumbo, ni hapa na ni hapa. You're not second guessing.
Yeah.
So my clarion call as we wrap up this live is to basically make sure that you come through this Friday and Saturday for this BMW Express clinic that is available in Nairobi and Mombasa. In Nairobi here, prices start at 40. Get a 50-point check including mechanical, and diagnostic report, do an oil and pollen and filter change, and they'll be able to ensure that your BMW is in safe condition. It doesn't matter what BMW, both new and old, if it's been bought here or Japan or Singapore or UK, please come through, make sure you come through to Inchcape Kenya Motors. For those who don't know where the location is, Google Maps is your friend, but it's on Westlands. It used to be called the Delta, now it's called Oracle Towers. Come through on the other side of this building, and they'll be able to assist you easily. And you can actually even call them as well. They'll give you all the details. Check their social media handles. It's Inchcape Kenya Limited at BMW Kenya. DM them, send them the questions. They'll be able to assist you. And I will be here on Saturdays. Come, let's hang out, let's have fun, let's talk BMW, let's demystify all the flatbed stories that you hear. It's because your cars are not well maintained. That's why everybody's crying about flatbed, and cheap is expensive. So make sure you come through this Saturday, 2nd to 3rd of June 2023, and let's have your BMW checked courtesy of Inchcape Kenya Limited and Shell Helix Ultra. Until next Saturday, or this Saturday, drive safe and be safe.